My friend, my friends. This is a great one as well from the 50 all-time classics. Thank you, Thomas Berenger. This is on page 66 of the big yellow book one. We're going to go to the page 66, read the top title. Make sure we're on the same page. Home on the Range. And then we're going to go to the first measure, and we look at it, we see the treble clef, which means it's up here, not down here. If it was down there, we'd be in the F clef, the bass clef. We're not. We're in the G clef. So, what is our time signature? What is our key signature? First thing you do when you look at a piece of music. Let's see here. G sharp. No. Why not? There's one sharp. Why isn't it G sharp? Because G sharp doesn't have one sharp. The key of G has one sharp, and that sharp is F sharp, because that one sharp is on that F line, the top line of the treble clef. Once we know that, we look at the time signature and realize that's 3/4, which means there are going to be 4 beats per measure, or 3 beats per measure, or 2 beats per measure, or all the beats per measure. It's going to basically be broken down into simple and complex structures. However, most of the ones from this book, they're very simple. So what we're going to do is count to 3 and then think 4. Square for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then triangle. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. It's going to feel like a waltz. La, 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 la. So here we go. The first chord is going to be a G major. However, I noticed the measure that has all the key signature, time signatures, what we look at first in a piece of music, it has a pickup note. And that pickup note is a note right below the bottom line. So that bottom line is going to be an E note. So that space right below it is the D. So our first note that we play is the D note. And because we're not playing the high D note, which would be up higher in there, we're actually looking at the D note, which is the lowest D that we could hit on this ukulele. So our first note is a D. The second melody note is also a D. Our third melody note is going to be a G note played at the 3rd fret on the E string. And then we're going to play an A note open. After we hit that A note, our first finger, preferably, or second finger, will play the 2 note, because we want to go right back down to the 3, and we can either move it in a motion where we're moving it, or we could slide it. There's not a slide indication here, but it is tied together, and since it's moving to a different note, it's not tied, it's actually slurred, which means when you go from one note to another, you slur a note. When you go to the same note to the same note, it's a tie. Same function, you'll see 2 notes on both sides of the bar and a little bitty loop-de-loop over the top. Anywho, when we're going through this, the first chord is going to be G, then we're going to play a blaring C major. So our G, first finger, 2nd fret on the low C strings. First finger is going to go on top here. We're going to put that right around here. 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the E string to make the G note. 1, 3, 5. When we go to the C, you can use that 3rd finger like that. And then we're going to play back to the G major. Watch this. The A7 generally has a C sharp and an A over the top of an E and an A. But we're just going to play it with one finger on the C sharp. And it's going to make the A7. Here's from the top. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope. D major is kind of a hard chord when you're first starting. A lot of people play it like this, but then you're only having one finger for the awesomeness. Why not try playing it barring the whole thing, the whole second? That makes a B minor 7, but what we do when we do this and we lift this on up, we get a D major, because the notes that we're covering, the A note, the D note, and the F sharp, make a D major. Now listen to it with the A note in there. Awesome. Or with the B. It just makes a different type of chord. You can avoid that by barring the whole thing for that B minor 7 and putting the pinky on the 5th fret of the D note. Makes a fuller chord. Anywho, do what you want to do. When we have a G to the C, do G to the A7, yeah, to that D, you can play like that, play like here. We're going to rock a D7, meaning we're just going to drop that middle note on the thick string to its open. So still keep the little bookends. Ooh, so sweet. And then it's going to wrap back up to the G major. Holds that out for a few bars, plays the C major. It's going to go to C major's relative minor. C, D, E, F, G, A minor. So all the notes in A minor are all the notes in C major. Cool. So there are no other chords besides E minor in here. Let's check it out. E minor looks like a D minor. D minor looks like an F major, which is its relative major. F, G, A, B flat, C, D minor. When we play an F major, we leave open the C and we leave open the A while playing the F note and the A note. When we take our third finger and put it underneath there, or heck, use one finger to cover both if you're a rock star, you get a D minor, F's relative major. Same thing with C and A minor. All the notes in one and the other are the same. So when we're getting through this process, the E minor can be played by taking the D minor and playing it in our second finger. And watch me now. I'm changing shapes. Yeah, look at that. Boom. One finger on, one finger off. If you haven't checked out Teeter Totters in my other videos, try it out. You might like it. Anywho, we're going to take that D minor, scoot it up a half step, and then another half step to make a whole step. A minor second plus a minor second equals a major second. Or a whole step, D minor to E minor. Now, most people play their E minor like this. If you know that G major has a relative minor, which we've just been talking about, G, A, B, C, D, E minor. So a G major and an E minor look the same. So why keep moving your fingers like that when it takes a long time? Play a G, put down the pinky, got an E. See how simple that was? So from the top, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam and the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are cloudy all day. Home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and skies are cloudy all day. Hey, you can hit it on G7 if you want. What a fun tune this is. If you have any questions about how the melody should go, follow it from the beginning. Rest. Eighth note. Eighth note. Great tune. I hope that was really fun. I really enjoyed reading that out too. Sight reading is so fun. If you do not sight read, try and find a website which shows you the beginning basics. We're going to be talking about that in our next series, how to do basic sight reading. Aloha!